Hello there, Vic Benedict here. We're playing Gears of War Judgment, and this is my 3 Stars Declassified Insane Difficulty Guide and Walkthrough. We're currently on Act 1-3. It is entitled Museum Gardens, and the declassified mission here is that you need to use hammerbursts and sawed-offs and one-shots only. That does not mean you can use frag grenades, unfortunately. So the one-shots come to play at the end, and you're going to be using the sawed-off and the hammerburst exclusively. What I like to do is just at least kill this healing Cantus right away with the long shot, since there's no risk. And to me, this is my favorite mission in the game, and I don't think that it is overly hard. I think that it's unfair at times, but I think a lot of people, when they do this, will think that it's complete bullshit. That's what I thought at first, until I did it a number of times and realized that there are more advantages here than you might think. Particularly coming back here and using the third-person cover trick by aiming over your left shoulder out of cover by first gluing yourself to a piece of cover over here. Ideally the ends of the cover, because some pieces of cover, they won't let you actually aim. You have to get to the edge of it and then just withdraw, and then you can shoot here. Now, what is your priority at this point? Well, your priority really should be the Cantuses. You can shoot the drones if you want to, but bear in mind, anytime there are healing Cantuses around, gotta watch out for those ink grenades because they disregard cover. Anytime you have Cantuses around, you are going to have tickers around, and the Cantuses can also revive DBNO enemies, meaning the down but not enemies. They can get picked up and healed by the Cantus. But if you kill them again, they can't get revived again, and then it's over. But it is kind of a nuisance to have to go after them again when they're on the brink of death anyway and would have just crawled to their own demise, as it were. But I like to stay back here at first. Don't worry, I'm not going to be staying back here for the whole time. But I did want to mention that anytime you roll over stagnant ammo, it's only going to give you the ammo for the hammer burst. The Onyx box is the only way you can get refills for the sawed-off shotgun. Okay, and the sawed-off shotgun really doesn't come into play too much. It is a devastatingly powerful weapon, and I really do like the fact that they implemented 2 rounds for it rather than in Gears War 3 where you had just 1 shot for it. How many Cantuses are there here? I couldn't say. 10. There's quite a lot of them. And do you see the guys up there using one-shots with those orange lasers? That means that they can kill you at any given time if you stay out of cover too long and allow them time to size up a shot for you and kill you in 1 hit, which is game over for you. So you need to be very careful. You don't ever want to aim out of cover and shoot for too long a period of time, because you could find yourself being instantly killed, and that's not good at all as you're making progress. So there's another thing about the one-shots too. I have been in cover, like walking in cover. I'm talking about like the waist-high cover. Sometimes when you're crawling along waist-high cover, it seems like Baird's head is a little bit above the rim, and they can one-shot him in the head. So you need to be very particular about what you're doing. And if you see those lasers near you and you're walking and you're crawling in cover, the waist-high cover, don't do it, because it's possible that they could put you down if you're moving. Now, if you just stop and there's lasers are going all over the place, as long as you stop in a safe place, don't move, they shouldn't be able to kill you. They won't be able to kill you. It's only when you're moving and you have a little bit more of a profile over the rim. That's my belief on how it works. Okay, but we are coming up on an Onyx cache over here, and this is a challenging mission. For most people, it will be their challenge by fire, that challenge which will determine whether they want to do the campaign or not. Now, don't get me wrong, there are far harder challenges in the game than this, but early on I'm talking about getting a early sense of the game. It might put you off to the entire challenge of Declassified, and you want to be careful that you realize that you have more advantages here than you might think, okay? and that it is not wholly impossible. In fact, I've done this dozens, you guys, dozens of times. You also want to pick up your teammates so they can pick up themselves if all of your teammates are down. But yes, get on those Cantuses before they can summon tickers and throw grenades. They have a really weird sound that they do. I don't know what in hell it is. It's some kind of a foreign word that they shout, and that signifies that they're going to be summoning those tickers. So I think it starts with an S. I have no idea what the hell it is, but that means that they're summoning tickers. So what you need to do is just go up here and clear the Cantuses and the drones alike. However, make it your preference to kill the Cantuses first, because they're too problematic. They've got tickers, they've got ink grenades, they've got the ability to be healers, they can stagger you if you're too close to them. So they just need to be gotten out of the way, you know. Even if it comes at the price of you're taking a little bit more time to kill down but not enemies over again, because he can't heal them twice. So once he has healed a down but not enemy, you'll see them get resuscitated, and then you just want to shoot them till they're dead, and then he won't revive them again. So this is not a situation where it's impossible to make progress. Like I said, it requires patience, and it's slow process, okay? Because if you push up too fast before you realize what you might be running into, you might be running into your death. And as a guide maker, I don't want that for somebody who is trying to do this on their own, okay? Now the Hammer Burst, I believe it has like 1.25 times the strength of the Lancer, so you're not getting shortchanged with the Lancer. It is semi-automatic, so you have to click in the stick every time. But you can get headshots with it, and you can zoom in with it too, and you can fire as fast as your finger can click in the left trigger. Or I use the paddle with my Xbox Elite controller because I have hand injuries and it just works better that way. Now, on to the one-shotters. Should you kill them as you're making your progress up here? Well, you really shouldn't, because they're not a threat, and you want to kill them last if you can. And if you remember nothing else, at this point, remember that the dropped one-shots are not the ones that you want to pick up on the second phase. The ones that you want to pick up on the second phase, I think there might be just one. You want to pick up the one shot that is leaning against a column that has full ammunition. And unfortunately, the main problem about this is that you do all of this lengthy combat, and then you have enemies that spawn from holes on the other side, which would be fine if you can grenade tag them, but you can't use grenades on this declassified criteria. So what you need to do is use the one-shots to pierce through enemies as much as you can, and as best as you can, and as accurately as you can, with a priority of killing the Cantuses first. Why? Because the Cantuses are going to be summoning those tickers, and you can't have tickers running around when you're dealing with a slow-moving one-shot, barely able to move, belabored by the slow movement of that fucking gun. I'm saying fucking weapon like it's a piece of shit, but it's actually very helpful, and it can pierce through enemies, meaning that you can kill more than one enemy at a time. So what's going to happen is, on the far side to the left, you're going to have several holes that open up, and you're going to have Cantuses and Boomers walking up to you. Okay, so the Cantuses the Cantuses need to be killed first. Why? Because when you're using that gun, you cannot have tickers running around. I think that I might be repeating that, but it bears repeating. You cannot have tickers running around, and this is dangerous. And the fact that they give you no checkpoint here is inexcusable. But I do find it fair. Even though inexcusable, it is fair because these enemies are pretty mild, and as long as you can get on these enemies and pierce through multiple ones at a time, this should go really well for you. So again, the Cantuses need to be dispersed immediately. If you can't get piercing kills on them, don't worry about it. They seem to line up in pretty good patterns so that you can pierce through one and kill any behind him. You're not required to use the one shot, but since it gives them and gives you so many other points, it's kind of foolhardy not to use this. However, once the fight is nearly done and or you've run out of your ammunition for this, what I would do is don't get any more ammunition for the one shot. There might be some ammunition kicking around somewhere. Don't do it. Just get to one side and finish them off with either the shotguns, especially if you're in the place where you've nearly got the stars and you don't want to die at all. You want to just make sure that if you've got Cantuses running around, you've got more mobility, that's a different thing. I'm talking about when Cantuses are trying to get you and it takes like an eternity for him to drop the fucking one shot, But this is a perfectly fine situation where we can continue to spot enemies. There's just a couple of boomers over here. We've got ribbons galore. We don't need any more stars, but we do need to clear this section. But do you see how we could have just made that not a fight by putting holes over those spawn points on the other side if we knew, and if this was not declassified? But yeah, the fact that they don't give you a checkpoint there is pretty rude. I've always felt that it's pretty rude, but it does increase that level of dread and needing to do something very fast with very many likelihoods of you failing at once. So it does have a good amount of what I would call appropriate levels of pressure, but I still do think that it is easy to get killed sometimes when a boomer is shooting at you and you're still trying to get over the ledge to reload to try to get back into safety with the one shot. The boom shot is probably going to beat you out to that, and it's really unfair if that happens because you get killed and you've got to start over at the beginning of the video, and this is a long video as it were. So I hope that this did help, and we will be moving on briefly to 1-4. For 1-3, this has been Bic Benedict of Bic Benedict Productions, and until we do see each other next in whatever act, please take care.